The world of content is constantly evolving. As the needs and desires of our audiences shift, so does the way they consume content. Video is rapidly becoming more popular, and audio-only content seems to be less common as the video and audio worlds merge. We see more podcasters taking to YouTube, and more radio stations are branching out into video broadcasting too. And we see TV taking to audio too. It's a two-way thing. So are there lessons here for content marketers? Keep listening to find out. You're listening to the Content 10x podcast, where it's all about content repurposing. I'm Amy Woods, and I'm here to help you maximise your content and find smart ways to get your message in front of more of the right people, whilst also saving time. Let's get started. Hello and welcome back to the Content 10x podcast. I'm your host Amy Woods, the founder and CEO of Content 10x, and in this episode I want to share with you my observations on how much video content is sidelining audio only content and how the worlds of video and audio are starting to merge together. So keep listening to find out why audio-only content is becoming almost a rare occurrence when both video and audio are possible. Also, observations from the radio and TV world and what we can learn from them, and how content repurposing can aid a video-first approach. Now, video content has always been universally popular, but over the past few years, we've even seen organisations that were focusing on audio-only content switch their attention to video. A number of podcasts which were previously audio-only have started to turn the video camera on. We see them making the move to YouTube and other video platforms. And also, many radio stations have upped their video content output too. There's so many radio stations sharing their content in video format. And we can also take a look at previous audio-only apps like Spotify and Amazon Music to see that we can watch videos on them now too. So if you head to podcasts on Spotify, you can stream a video podcast on Spotify now. So it feels like you're almost on YouTube, but you're on Spotify. So YouTube is showing podcasts, Spotify is showing videos. It feels like the audio and video world are becoming one and the same. Now, a great example of this is Talk TV, which launched back in April of 2022, and it's owned by News UK. Now, Talk Radio was already very much established for over 6 years, and Talk TV is essentially the same as Talk Radio. So you can watch Talk Radio on Talk TV on demand or live. You can listen to Talk TV on Talk Radio on demand or live. Not only is Talk TV featured on television, on Sky, Virgin Media, Freeview, it's on Australian TV and US networks via Fox, but their content is also streamed via Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, Samsung TV. It's also on YouTube and their website as well. And they have video content for Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok as well. Around the launch of Talk TV, News UK's President of Broadcasting, Scott Taunton, described the project as designed for the streaming age. So that's what he explained it was. It was designed for the streaming age. And their radio content, that's available on DAB radio, smart speakers, online or on their app as well. So as you can see, this is the same content extremely well distributed, making the very most of video and audio. Now, I'm not suggesting for a minute that we can all create our content like Talk Radio and Talk TV, but it's an interesting observation of what's possible and what broadcasters are doing, and it makes me wonder if we can learn from this. So why are the video and audio only worlds colliding like this? The Reuters Institute Digital News Report in 2021 found that YouTube is the number one podcasting platform for listening in the US, a platform that was clearly benefiting from video and hybrid podcasts. Spotify, previously audio only as I've mentioned already, introduced video in 2021 in an attempt to catch up with YouTube. And in March 2022, YouTube announced that they plan tighter integration, monetization and analytics for podcast creators on the platform. So they basically announced that they're taking more interest in podcasting. Hey, just a little break from this week's episode to let you know about becoming a Content 10x Insider. If you want more content repurposing tips and advice, then why not join hundreds of business owners, marketers and content creators who get them delivered straight to their inbox once a week by subscribing to the Content 10x newsletter. As well as tips and advice, you get industry updates, inspiring stories, exclusive content, offers and more. You can subscribe at content10x.com/newsletter and there's a link in the show notes too. Okay, back to this week's episode. Now, if we switch back to a view from a content marketing perspective, Wyzowl reported in 2022 that 87% of marketers say video gives them a positive ROI, and that figure was just 33% in 2015, so that's a huge increase. And I'll put links to all of these research and statistics so you can look up a little bit more about them in the show notes. But what a big jump, 87% from 33% of content marketers reporting that they get a positive ROI from their video content. So marketers are looking to connect with audiences in the most engaging ways, and using audio and video together with the right platforms is more likely to hold someone's attention, and it presents many distribution opportunities. This isn't to say that the predominantly audio-based organisations or channels making video content is a completely new thing. Of course it's not. BBC Radio 1 and other major radio stations around the world have been posting content to YouTube for years. But I would say this shift to putting core content like full programmes, podcast episodes or entire broadcast schedules into video form is indicative of a big shift to visual mediums. Now, I want to explore some ideas on how us as content marketers can maximise our strategy with video content and through repurposing. If you're creating content like, for example, a guest interview, a webinar, a live stream or talking head style thought leadership content, all this content features both audio and video. This instantly provides you with a plethora of opportunities to put out great content in those different formats. Having a full-length video allows you to post it in its entirety after some editing perhaps, but you can also segment it into clips for YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram Reels and other social channels wherever your audience are. You have the same with the audio content there as well, so edit it and share it in its entirety or break it down into micro content. Now, I spoke about the repurposing possibilities of video not long ago in episode 243, 10 types of video your business should repurpose, so do check that out if you're thinking about what kind of videos could I create and of course repurpose. And in episode 223, how to repurpose videos for social media, I expanded on how a video first approach can be used to create great social media content. The links to both of those will be in the show notes, so do go check them out. Now, the Talk TV example really shows repurposing and distribution in action. The model is based around maximising content and finding audience members in as many places as possible while still being targeted to a demographic. So a question I have to you is, are you distributing your content as much as possible? Are there more ways to distribute it that don't take up too much more time as well? So have a think about that. And whilst it seems like a video-first approach is the way forward in content marketing, that isn't to say that audio podcasts and audio-only content are totally worthless though, because they aren't. I mean, take this podcast for example. This is an audio-only podcast. It just means that video is a major focus for many content marketers, podcasters and radio organisations in 2022, and it's one that we can't afford to overlook. In fact, embracing video as well as audio content can enhance your content strategy. More content mediums mean you get to appeal to a broader range of people, which is why content repurposing is then just so important. And you don't have to have an all-in approach. Do what's right for you and your content and your audience. So at Content 10x, we put out all of our guest episodes in video form for both this podcast, the Content 10x podcast, and our sister podcast, B2B Content Strategist. And not only that, but we have other types of videos that we put out on our social channels, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, and other platforms. So do check us out on social media to see what we're up to over there. But as I mentioned, we do still have this show in audio only. We found that worked best for our audience, and we create other types of video content. So really, I hope you found this episode useful. It's more of an interesting observation episode really, with some suggestions along the way and some food for thought. If you're interested in shifting your marketing approach to video first, but you're worried about finding the time or resources, then do check out our blog and podcast library with lots and lots of useful information, or grab a copy of my book, Content 10x, More Content Less Time, Maximum Results at content10x.com/book, or just go and find it on Amazon, and you'll find lots of help on how you can have a more rounded video and audio approach with lots of great repurposing. And if you want help with doing this, then of course check out our services at Content 10x. We offer a fully done for you end-to-end video and audio repurposing service, so head to content10x.com/services to find out how we might be able to do this for you. So thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Do connect with me on the social media platforms and let me know at Content10x on all the platforms, or find Amy Woods on LinkedIn. I'd love to hear what you thought of the episode. And all that's left to say is thank you so much for listening, and I will catch you in the next one.